Welcome to episode 50-something of Watch Cringe. I'm Brendan.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Josh.
This episode, we're going to talk to you about Chris and my last-minute trip to Geneva for a secret mission. We didn't tell anyone about it. And we just got back recently, so we're going to divulge the contents in this episode.
I am really excited to learn about Jill's watch adventure in Switzerland.
So before we get into it, quick wrist check. I'm still wearing the Tiffany OP.
Sartori Billard SB04.
And Mr. Teacup over there, cappuccino cup.
I have the Swatch, Moon Swatch, Mission to Mercury.
Ooh, I got to pour this into the...
Was that the one you bought the other day?
Yep.
Nice.
Tasty.
God, that was a delicate pour. Okay. So, I guess we'll kick this off.
Hold on a second. Was that empty when you poured into it?
No, there was Coke in this already.
A half bottle pour.
Thanks, Chris.
That'd be like your Japanese whiskey that you did.
Oh, that was a handful.
Yeah, never give Brendan a bottle of nice whiskey.
I know how to do a deep pour.
None of this was recording.
Okay. How do I sound now?
Now you sound perfect.
Ooh, I always sound perfect.
Our mind's small.
Okay, so I guess we're just going to tell this story chronologically and kind of the events leading up to it and then the actual whole trip.
Yeah, I want to know, how did you guys get this crazy idea to do a surprise last-minute trip to Geneva?
Chris, you want to answer that? You want me to answer that one?
I'll do it. So I'd say probably around November, we started discussing trying to do a Geneva trip, but I didn't have a passport, or I had a passport, but it needed to be renewed. So I shipped it off and wasn't expecting it to come till like late January, and it arrived early December.
So did you wait until you got it back to buy tickets?
Yes, you have to, because you have to put your passport number in.
Okay.
But
Philistine.
But from that point on, like soon as I got it in early December, I know Brendan and I were like getting more and more serious about it, but you know, holidays, shit like that, like we just couldn't come up with a good time. And I guess, did we mention that?
Yeah, so our one of like the driving forces for us to go to Geneva was to meet an independent watchmaker who's relatively new to the scene, Simon Brett. So me and Chris have been like huge fans of his stuff ever since it was put out, and we were talking to him and chatting with him online for a few months actually. And he asked if we, had any interest to go see his workshop and meet him. And so we were kind of thinking about it and just trying to find the right time, as Chris said. So we finally found the right time, pulled the trigger, took a red eye, or what I like to call a pink eye, to Geneva. And we left at 7 p.m. on like a Tuesday, and didn't tell anyone about this in the group. And the flight over there, I gotta say, was extremely turbulent. Like for the whole trip, the whole flight.
Brendan was scared. Xanax scared.
Yeah. So I for these international trips, I'll take like some Xanax just to make it easy. So it's turbulent like crazy. And I go in the back because I was going to go to the bathroom, and I turned to the stewardess. I was like, "Hey, pretty crazy turbulence on the flight." He turns to me and he says, "This is moderate. Just wait until we get over the Atlantic. It's going to be severe." I didn't even go to the bathroom. Everything just went right back up inside me. I turned around and just popped some Xanax, and I turned to Chris and I said, "See you later."
You know what that experience was? Karma for when you shut that guy down at the Rolex boutique in your suit. It's like the same thing. Like you got the airplane version of, but for some things, no chance.
I'll say that. Hold on. On the plane. We're in the coach, so we're in the back of the plane. And I mean,
very back.
The last row, which was actually perfect because Brendan and I were in. I was window, he was aisle, and we had no one in between.
Middle seat open.
Could you guys smell the restroom under the door?
No. It was actually it was probably the best flight.
Xanax is
And,
a hell of a drug,
wow,
man. It,
okay.
it numbs all your
But-
senses.
I remember like after we had our meal and we're getting prepped to go, go to sleep. He takes a couple Xanax. He says, "All right, man, see you later." And then we get to the bath, we go to the bathroom. Then the turbulence starts hitting. We come back, and he just looks at me, and he takes 2 more, and he's like, "See you later." And I was like, "Oh God."
You guys were going to go to the bathroom together?
Well, yeah, it's a
Well,
a trip we got to take together. You got to do
yeah.
everything together.
I guess whatever
Mile
it
High
takes to
Club.
get into the Mile High Club.
Mile High Club.
That counts. It still counts.
Yeah.
So we finally get there. Over the trip. Besides the turbulence, everything else was smooth. We go through Heathrow and then to Geneva.
Wait. It was not smooth in Heathrow. We landed on time and then waited on the tarmac for an hour
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
them damn English don't know how to get to the gates. And
we did miss that flight. They had to put us on the next flight. I forgot about that. But
Great
it wasn't.
start to the trip.
Yeah. And you could just imagine these 2 guys trying to go meet like a celebrated independent watchmaker who were sitting in the back of the plane, like class, right?
Yeah, you're the last 2 people anyone could imagine going to meet a celebrated watchmaker.
You like that phrase? Celebrated watchmaker. So we get to Geneva and we're doing a bunch of stuff. There's so much to do. And I think the first stop that we actually made, besides like we did some boutiques on the first day because it was like an odd time to get in, like 3 or 4.
yeah, it was
And
4-ish. Yeah.
we went to what was that? The first one we went to was not Watches of Switzerland, but the other one with the
Buchera.
was it Bucher? Yeah, I think it was Bucher
No, it's
or
Buchera.
Godin or what's the other one with the G?
Googling,
Gublin? Yeah.
or whatever, however you say that.
So yeah, and we were when we're going to all these places, we're kind of just telling them, yeah, we're here just for watches, and we end up saying, who you coming to see, and they all actually know Simon Brett, and they're like, oh, he's a super wonderful guy. Like literally everywhere we were hearing that.
Did it seem like, were they surprised that you guys were there just to do watch stuff?
Yeah.
Yes, they were like, what's wrong with you?
Really? I would think that like that would be more common, but I think we are all also fairly degenerate. So
Well, and here's
yeah.
another thing. Everyone that we talk to, like, "Oh, you're here on holiday," and I think they're used to like the European holiday, which is like 30 days.
because you went around Christmas, yeah.
Well, a little after, and they're like, "Oh, so you're here on holiday? How long you have? 6 weeks?" And we were like, "No, 3 days." And they're like, "What? You came here for 3 days?" And we're like, "Yeah, like that's like
Really?
all we need."
Are you gonna go to the mountains at all? We're like, nah, just watches.
Yeah, and they thought we were crazy.
That's
Which
literally all
I
we did.
agree. Switzerland is amazingly beautiful if you go
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
probably
Get
like,
in the
you,
Alps, go look at it. It's gorgeous.
you came to the most beautiful place on earth to not see it.
Yeah.
Basically. So the next day, we lined up a bunch of other boutiques and workshops. The first actual workshop we went to was the Acrivia workshop.
Ooh, nice.
And it's gorgeous. They have this spot where it kind of overlooks the lake, and it's like multiple stories, and then they have they have 2 different spots or 3 different spots where they make all the components, the straps, the watches, the cases, all that. Super nice. Who was helping? I guess someone was helping us out. I don't know if we should name all our names, but we end up seeing the RCC watch because they don't have the Acrivia watches.
And the anti-magnetic.
The only
which is
one, the only watch.
but
Yeah.
they'll be producing. I think she said 50-piece run.
Yes.
Next
50 piece
year,
run.
Does that mean Only Watch is dead now?
It won't be. It'll be similar. She couldn't give us details, obviously, but no. I think there's out of the few people we talked to, only watch is still. As of right now, it's still on like
Well,
the books.
It was funny because there was a few other spots that had like our work had their only watch stuff. Like everyone had their stuff back, because it didn't happen, right?
Yeah. So you're able to see a lot.
We were
of it.
able to see a lot.
You guys
actually.
did you guys see those in New York, or was that all the GPHG watches?
That was GPH.
That was GPHG.
Okay. Well, so that's actually pretty cool then. You guys got to see
Like
the
the
Only
actual,
Watch. That,
yeah.
Like you'd only be able to see in the auction, or if you had some like special friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first stop, awesome tour. I think we kind of got sized up immediately though as not having the scratch for.
Yeah. These guys aren't serious.
And we didn't get to see Rick Cheppy.
We didn't get to see Rick
that was a
Cheppy.
little let down, but I didn't get to meet Jorn when I went to Jorn, so
Yeah.
Maybe that's yeah.
So
Maybe it's a me thing.
you mentioned that it's got a nice view over Lake Geneva and everything. Did you
Beautiful.
guys do like the quintessential like watch tourist thing of doing a wristy in front of the fountain?
I did. But that was later on in the story. We can talk about why Brendan wouldn't.
You did,
Why
but
I
Brendan
did it.
didn't.
Well, there's a reason why Brendan didn't, and we'll get to
We'll
that.
talk about
All
it.
right,
We'll talk about it.
We'll pull on that thread a little more when we get there.
A little teaser for you.
Actually, that morning, the wind was too high, so the fountain wasn't even on.
Yeah, it was off.
The lady's like, "Oh, usually you can see the fountain, but this morning the wind's too high, so they'll turn it off."
That sounds dumb. Like I would look cool with the wind, right? Just be like squirting everywhere.
Squirting everywhere.
But yeah, Caribbean was great. They,
We saw the RCC as well, which is the enamel dial, rose gold, and had like a purpled handset. Like it was blued, but like purpled. It was a heated purple, and took our breath away. But the price tag,
A little much.
135 CHF chuff.
Ooh, that's a lot of chuffs.
Yeah, it's a lot of chuffs, and we got kind of. There were some questions asked earlier on, which I felt like disqualified us from that level. They kind of knew where we were coming from. They knew we flew in the back of the plane. You know what I'm saying?
How did she know? Did you tell her?
She was asking, what else do you collect? What other stuff do you have? What do you know? I don't know.
Brendan had half his collection on his wrist.
Yeah, I was double
He
wristing.
was like,
Yeah.
"Here I am."
He had the Bay Area edition Bel Canto and a fake Rolex.
That Bel Canto, though, huge hit.
Oh, I bet it's a beautiful watch.
Huge hit. More than anything else we showed to
it-
anyone.
And he was so worried about it too. He's like, "Dude, do you think people are gonna look down on me?" And I was like, "No,
Absolutely not.
They loved it.
Like
yeah.
when I wear that watch, like everyone, whether they're watch people or not, they're like, "Whoa,
what is that?"
So cool."
I had a guy at Bolden Creek Cafe be like, "Oh, that's a cool watch. Does it do anything?" I was like, "Yeah, it tells the time and it dings." He's like, "Oh, cool." So, and they had like some like legendary case maker. I forgot his name, but he had a Mickey Mouse pendant, and we were chatting with him a little bit.
Yeah,
It was
they
kinda
brought
cool.
him out of
Mickey
retirement.
Mouse pendant.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had like it was actually the Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie.
And so
You can wear
he
that now.
He was really cool. He was in I think 80-something-year-old guy.
Hagman. I think Hagman is his name.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Something like that.
That's a good
yeah.
name for a
He-
haggard old
he-
watchmaker.
So he made case for I forget the brands that they said, like a lot of them.
Maybe
And then he
Patek or
retired,
something.
And,
Vacheron or something.
Rex Sheppy knew that he retired and wanted to bring him on, and basically got him out of retirement and brought him into the
Nice.
shop. And so
He's probably
he's
like,
there.
you can only make like, you only have to make like 50 cases a year, and they are going to be
well, he's-
really cool.
He's teaching all the youngins.
Yeah.
His techniques.
yeah, so
That's
he's got
actually- I
he's
could
got
see
a couple of guys they're all learning so that he can
That's
officially
actually
retire.
that's actually really good that like he brought him in
me help you out
with
with
the
this.
intent to like share that craft, you know. So hopefully there will be a budding group of case makers out there.
Yeah. Okay. So so anything else you want to talk about, Acrivia?
I mean, I think the biggest thing to know is when they say they try to do everything in house, they are really trying to do everything in house. To even their strap maker was just down the block from their main two workshops.
Yep.
Which we got to go see, and they've got a lot of cool. They got like a planer. They got some other things that are like attention to detail, I would say, on
Yeah.
all their stuff. So it's
That's
really cool.
That's cool. 'Cause, like sometimes like people say in house and like they're still using like
Yeah.
distributors or someone's helping them like manufacture, like it's their design and everything, but they're using partners. So it's cool to know that they're doing it. However, I also like expect if you're going to charge 135 chuffs for your watch, that like
You're
you
having
are
some stuff-
doing
yeah.
it all right.
Well, and I was definitely impressed. I mean, for a brand that started in 2012, so like basically 12 years old.
They're really that old.
Yeah, I think it was like around 2012.
wow.
I think.
And when we say everything in house, it's not machines. It is like there are machines, but they're hand machines. Like
So they're
it's-
using like lathes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's old school. Like the shop that's right across the street from their main area is all like their workshop, I guess. It is all old school machines that they hand running and operating to make sure it's to what they want.
That's really cool. Like it's not like they're throwing it in a big like CNC or like computer run lathe.
It's all like hand operated.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You're on airplane mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep on hearing stuff. Anyways,
Probably Steven. He's got a client coming in.
I can't
15.
tell anything. The boss is in. He's watching the episode live. He's getting free
We're
entertainment.
flustered. He's got a client coming in.
He's got a
soon.
client coming in, so we got to hurry, or we'll have to pause or
We'll
something.
do an intermission.
We'll do an intermission. Yeah,
give you
'cause
our
it's gonna be a big juicy one.
adverts.
Dufresne adverts.
Dufresne.
We'll just have this on there for like
10 minutes. So
after that was probably an hour and a half tour.
Yeah, there was a lot of time spent. I thought it was a great experience overall.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay, we're going to do a little brief
pause.
intermission.
We'll be right back. And Brendan's back.
And we're back. So we were talking about a trivia.
Back.
We finished that, and then we went to, same day, we went to our work.
Ooh. No.
Right?
No, hold on. After that, we had planned Hevdet.
Oh, Hevdet was right after?
Rex Sheppy.
Oh, the other one.
His brother, who used to work for him, did kind of followed in his same footsteps. I think worked for Patek Philippe, and then started working with his brother, and then told his brother he wanted to do his own venture, and then went off and created his own company.
At two, Brutus. It's a famous quote. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it was amicable.
Yeah. No, they're
Oh, you didn't like stab him in the back.
Not yet.
no,
Okay.
not that we know of.
Yeah. But, so we did end up at his shop, and it was a brand new space. They were still building it out. They had like these glass doors. We were awkwardly standing outside trying to get in because there's no like doorbell to ring. We're just kind of like standing there smiling.
They probably thought you were like casing the joint.
No, I really they stared at us for a good like minute, and we were just like, I was just like, hi, and like the only way we've been communicating was the email, and literally, but it was like we left the trivia, and I was like, hey, we finished early. Is it okay if we come over? Because he wanted us to be earlier than a certain time frame, and I was like, we'll try. And then he responded pretty quickly, and he was like, yeah, come on over. And I was like, all right, we're getting in an Uber, and we'll be there in like 10, 15 minutes. And then we show up, and it's just like, who are these guys?
I just thought you were a bunch of weirdo Americans.
But then they opened the door, and we started, I introduced ourselves, and he was like, oh, yeah, welcome. And then
he thought you were a watchmaker.
Yeah, I heard you got offered a job.
he thought you were a watchmaker. And
the watches would be even worse condition if they were delivered in parts. I wouldn't know what to do with it. And
then once we cleared that up, then he was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry about the space. And I was like, oh, I can help set things up. And he was like, oh, you're the watchmaker? I was like, no, I just can set up tables. But he showed us around. There's like two other watchmakers there, spent a lot of nice time with us, showed us everything, all his designs, all his process. Talked about how his watch potentially got dropped by someone at GPHG in New York, and the watch is a Switzerland.
Fell right off the hand.
Because he got it back, and he's like, well, there was a gear that popped up. How the hell does that just happen?
And you
Chris
guys
has
confirmed
photo
for
evidence.
him. You're like, no, it looked good when I saw it.
Yeah, Chris had the before and after shots, so someone definitely dropped it.
Yeah, well, GPHG in New York in October, we went Friday afternoon, and the watch hands were looking good. I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then Saturday when we showed up, I noticed one of the hands was kind of misplaced a little bit, and it looked like it was hanging up. I was like, that's odd. Like something happened there, and I just, whatever. We don't get to touch the watches, so it sucks for us. We just see them in the case. But then we're chatting with him. He was like, yeah, they handed it back and said, oh, one of your gears popped out. And he was like, no, watches just don't do that. Like something happened.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't like confess. But
And
I told him, I was like,
confess.
I told him that story. I was like, man, I noticed the hand the next day was kind of hung up and it looked odd. And he's like, yeah, something happened.
So what you're trying to say is Watch Cringe is the premier source for investigative
Breaking
watch
news
journalism.
We're basically Periscope too.
Yeah.
And then we went to Urwerk.
Isn't it Urwerk?
Urwerk. I don't know, actually. How do you pronounce it?
Urwerk.
It was a cool space. It wasn't a workshop, it was a boutique. They had their only watch, like lightsaber time machine thing, whatever the hell that was, like a big clock, Nixie tube clock with like a lightsaber controller.
Ooh.
But it was really funny the way that he had it displayed. The controller was put in this inlet in the brick wall, and it was like this heavy, like bronze or metal alloy, like controller thing. I was like, isn't that just gonna fall over and smash the Nixie tubes over? But he just kept on placing it there because he's pretty confident about how he did that. Oh. But that was cool. And then they had an atomic.
Well, I was gonna ask,
clock.
did they have the atomic clock?
Oh, we can't talk about that. Well,
No,
we can't show photos.
That's been on Hodinkee forever, though.
Yeah. We just can't show photos. I think we can talk about it.
Oh. Yeah,
well,
I guess he did say it was on a TV or a movie,
was
but
gonna
they
be on a
don't know
movie.
if it was coming out anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
a new version of it then.
Potentially.
Because they had one they
had
showed
two of them.
off in like 2018.
Well, they had two of them.
So that one is, I think that one's the one, the black, it was black with.
There's a black and a silver case.
Yeah, it was like black or silver or whatever.
But what was cool is that you hook them up to the 7 different satellites and get the time, and then you can put your watch in the case and it like syncs it every night.
That's pretty cool.
Which is really funny because I'm just jumping ahead a little bit for now, but Breguet actually came up with that concept with pocket watches. He had this clock, and you put the pocket watch on the top, and it would wind it and set it every night for you.
Or here's another idea: you could get a Seiko Astron that does the same
Christ.
thing.
Hey, by the way, do you guys airplane mode on your phones?
Yes.
Okay. Because I keep on hearing a little.
Jesus Christ, Brendan.
These balls though.
Just edit it out.
So yeah, that's gonna be hard. He also showed like all like the old stuff and the new stuff. I'm not like a huge Urwerk guy. I know some of their watches, and we saw some cool stuff, but
I like the older ones that are like really, really thin and kind of flat.
That's what he showed
like
us.
The OG
Yeah.
stuff a lot.
Yeah, he gave us a good. He went back to the safe a couple times. He's like, "Well, how much time do you have?" And we were like, "Oh, we got a decent amount of time." So we got
Very
to
good
see
host.
all kinds
Very
of
good host.
cool pieces.
yeah, showed us anything we wanted. Showed us things we didn't even ask about. I think those pieces are there's a lot of like space connection, like time and space satellites and orbits and stuff that they track. I personally, I love the way it looks. I don't think it's something I would wear on the wrist type of thing. It's just something I more appreciate.
Put it on a necklace.
No, just appreciate it and like on display or something. It's like, it looks cool. I don't think it would work on my wrist.
So they
You're
have
wearing
a
a T-shirt about computer games.
Yeah, this is a cool T-shirt, everyone. It says "Advance to the Net."
An Urwerk would go perfect with that shirt.
I guess so. It's like the movie Hackers.
One of their kind of cool complications was like they had basically a service.
Oh, that was
counter.
cool. That was cool.
Like it's like
it's like an odometer for your
so it gives like years. I think they put it at 7 years when the
watch needs service.
When it hits 7, you need to get it serviced. But then I think also on that same watch, they have just an overall year tracker. So not only do you have the 7 years for the service,
that was
it
pretty
then
cool.
keeps going longer. But that one never resets. But when you go and get your watch serviced, they'll reset the service.
Do they like program the year wheels or whatever on that watch? So like the last one is when you're going to die.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome.
Jesus.
There's a lot of movies about that.
You're just watching the watch
now.
and it's
Well,
just
there's
like
that
winding
watch.
down. You're like,
You're gonna die. Who does that watch?
Well, I
Like
don't know.
time's gonna end up on you. You're gonna die. It's like says it on the dial.
That's like a thing now, though. Like everybody's making
I
movies
thought there was like a
about
brand
that
that
shit.
said that.
Yeah.
Well, no, there was a
Specifically.
movie with Justin Timberlake that like you counted. It was like in your wrist. It
That
like
was like you trade your life for like a cup of
but
Starbucks.
it's minutes. Like it's hours and minutes.
What is it? This? Must have been the early 2000s.
But you pay for everything
Yeah.
with these minutes.
Yeah.
Starbucks and Target. It's like Josie and the
Yeah,
Pussycats
so
movie.
like rich people are gonna live forever, and like you and me, we've got like about 3 days left until the next paycheck, where we maybe get like another
3 days.
week plus 1 day, and that extra day is your vacation.
That actually, the Urwerk space was cool too because they had the old that the square that was in was actually raised up many years ago, and they actually had the entrance to the original where it was set in the ground underneath you, and you can like it was like a floor window.
Ooh,
So you could kind of see underneath. It would look pretty cool.
like what the old town looked like.
Yeah,
whatever.
and you can see like the steps, the old steps, and the old entryway and stuff. Cool space.
Very neat.
Good experience, I think.
Was that the last stop of day one?
No. Next
No.
was Debethune.
Oh, Debatoon, yeah.
and
very
they just moved to a new location, so we were kind of iffy if we were going to get in there or not. But they were welcoming and accommodated us. And,
The floating lugs, the DB28 we checked out.
and they actually they had all their pieces like in the office, and the lady said that usually they're kind of spread out across the world, just different events or different things going on. And we were very fortunate that they had basically every piece that I think they've come out with, or a variation of every piece.
And that cool, I don't know what it was called, but was it the DB28 or one of them that had the mechanically powered light? That was
Yeah,
cool because you
neat.
could see the whole wheel spinning as it powered the light on the watch. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had a lot of cool, and the like Stradivarius.
Oh yeah,
where you can
Get any-
choose whichever date you want to have the stars on the dial.
and their diamonds that they
I like
put in
that.
for stars.
Yeah.
If you like move, will they change the dial for you?
No, but you asked a similar question
I
about
asked,
buying
like,
pre-owned.
Yeah, because I was like, what happens if I buy pre-owned? Is there a way to get like a new dial basically created? And she said, not really. If you send it in for service, they may be able to do it. Obviously at an extra cost, but
Yeah.
it's not something they offer necessarily.
I would assume though, like if you're getting a new dial on, they're gonna service the watch anyways.
Well, I mean, say like
No,
they
like,
just won't
swap
do
the
that.
dial out completely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you have
but
to
I
send
mean-
it in and then
Could-
you request it.
And
they'll
then
see.
I also asked a good question. I said, could you do future dates? Because you basically pick a location and time, and they'll show you whatever part of the sky you want.
So like when you think you're gonna die,
Yes.
what the sky's gonna
Yeah.
look like.
What's this dude dying?
I don't know, man. He's got death on his mind. All right, next question. So all right, so after DB,
I mean, that was it for the,
was it
like,
for the day?
Independence. And
That was a huge
I mean,
day,
it
man.
wasn't
Big day.
It wasn't the it for the day, but it was definitely for the watch.
we kept on going.
Um,
Bye,
See you,
boss.
the watch shops or the watch brands, and then we went to
Bucherer.
Bucher.
They pronounced it Butcherer though.
Bukhara.
Or, no, they did it with like a.
Yeah.
It was like a ch.
With a cha?
It was a cha.
So,
So, but and we met a really cool dude, Lorenzo.
which one was that?
He's the dude on the
upstairs guy?
top- on the
Yeah,
top.
Oh, is that the
Four.
guy that told you if you spent like $50,000
No,
on
no,
jewelry? he'd
That's
give
someone
you
else. We'll get to
a
that
Sprite?
guy. We'll get
No,
to that guy later.
he was upstairs in kind of the. I guess it was more the independent section because there was the
he had-
Resonance.
H. Moser was up there.
Because I got to look at the new Resonance Type 1 rounded multicolor.
Yeah.
Which was really badass.
And he had some insights. He knew Simone. He knew all those
Yeah.
guys. He knew, he hung out with all those guys. He also told us, and well, I told this to you earlier, Josh, but he said that the Pepsi, the reason why they're having problems is because the temporary factory that they're using to produce the Pepsi bezel is having issues due to climate.
That's BS to me. That's just someone trying to drill the hype because you can climate control a building.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
They don't
I
have
think
AC over in fucking Europe.
Yeah,
They don't have AC over there.
That's what they do in the factories.
Maybe not. What do you know?
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know
weren't
shit,
there.
dude. You're
You
not
weren't
Lorenzo.
there.
And no things.
You're not
It's not
Lorenzo.
like my office.
You weren't
all right?
there.
They can have good air conditioning.
You don't work for Rolex.
You don't work
How do
for
you know?
Bucherer. And then
No,
we
but
met
Actually, it's Butcherer.
Butcherer. You wanted to say something about Lorenzo or Butcherer?
I forget.
Well, all right, I'll
I
skip.
forgot what else. What else was up there? I don't remember what else. What else we looked
I was
at?
looking at a cool vintage or a cool reissue Breitling.
That was second floor. It was third floor. We were on fourth.
Wait, are we
Yeah,
gonna
they
go
use stuff.
floor by floor in this?
No, I don't know.
No,
There's
we're
like
not
this is
gonna-
a multi-floor
Multi-floor
watch shop. It was actually
situation,
really cool.
service, used,
But,
pre-owned, independent stuff.
Yeah, no, and then the ground floor was Rolex. Like they had their Rolex section. Did get to see the new TI Yachtmaster.
Ooh, yeah. What do you
Ooh,
think about
was
that?
nice.
It was actually really, really nice.
It was nice. It was
super light, obviously being
super
titanium.
light. Thin too.
Maybe, yeah, it was
Ish.
thin.
Thin-ish.
Maybe a little on the large side. I think it's 42, if I'm not mistaken. So, but on wrist, it didn't bother me too
I think
much.
better than that titanium Pelagos.
Yeah, I think it's well, the bezel's matte on it, I believe, because it's rubbered. I can't remember if it's rubber.
It's like a weird finish.
Yeah.
It's a coating.
There's some on it. I think it's more matte than the
cool.
Pelagos. But yeah, it was really cool. And just being able to see it and like they had it in the window. I think the night before we saw it, and I was like, dude, we got to come look at this.
Chris really wanted to try it on.
And so
And it was
we
cool.
asked if we could buy it. Obviously, they told us no.
No.
Unless.
Well, there was this. So the gentleman that helped
Is
us.
no in Swiss
he
the
was
same
this-
as no in American?
Well, hold on.
So there's this Italian dude who had like Louis Vuitton or Gucci glasses on. It's kind of similar to mine.
Basically identical to Brendan's, except his were designer.
Yeah, and mine was like some New York brand.
You caught each other's eye, huh?
Yeah, no, we
they
were
really did.
we were-
Brendan was like, nice glasses, man. He's like, oh, you too.
He's like, we should
And
trade.
I was like,
It's too.
I was like, I didn't like pay attention when I first walked in, and I was like, man, why are they? And I turned around and looked, and I was like, oh, these motherfuckers wearing the same glasses.
Did you see them like getting a feel of the rimming each other?
we were close.
I think they both took their glasses off to show each other.
We did.
I'm not
my
joking.
God.
We inspected each other's
Yeah,
menswear.
it was kind of.
yes.
I was like,
was
I give it to
beautiful.
Brendan. He's trying to work that angle.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Personal connection.
It almost worked, but then he told us, yeah, if you want to get on to the top of the list, you have to buy diamonds.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I appreciate the honesty. I don't like people that play games. That's how it is, man. We know.
It's good to know that Rolex's own retail location is just like all the rest of them.
That's kind of where I think I initiated that. And I was like, oh, yeah, since Rolex owns y'all now, y'all not playing those games? He's like, no, you still have to buy a bunch of shit. I was like, damn. All right. Well,
So that was our nightcap. I think that was the last store that night. And
Yeah.
then the next day was the big day, right?
we found a cool English pub.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that was
how
cool.
was the food? Eat any good food?
It was mediocre.
It was
mediocre? Was it expensive?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, where we were, like the food, that's not like the food scene area.
Yeah, because like
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
Old Town, so
Old
it's
Town,
mostly like shopping center, and so like
It's
after
literally
like 7
luxury
o'clock,
stores.
everything is gone. Like it's
Yeah.
closed, and then a lot of the restaurants even close early. Jordan's restaurant was open. We walked by. We peered in, see
Yeah.
if we could see anybody we knew. We don't know anyone. But,
Yeah. So, yeah.
you know,
Still got to try though. Look the part.
Do you think Jay would be in there?
Yeah, he'd be bringing his leftovers from Chinatown the night before. Hey, can you heat this up for me, guys?
we did mean. I think we actually did mean to try and get a reservation, but we never did. I don't know why. We just
We kind of goofed it. Well, we
Yeah.
originally wanted to go with Simone Brett, but then that plan
Yeah.
got changed, so I think it threw us off a little bit.
yeah.
It was like,
But
so
we walked by it. And
yeah.
then-
And you know what?
night
That
we-
pub was awesome.
Yeah, we found it. It was just we walked around. We couldn't find anything because we didn't understand. Like there was nothing open.
Yeah.
And like we just walked by that like 10 minutes before, and we're like, well, that at least is open. Let's go get a drink.
Yeah,
And
man.
then we went in there and we got some wine.
The waiter said we got the worst choice, though.
I bet you
That's
went to an
okay.
English pub and got wine.
Well, it wasn't really. I mean, there was a lot of English like football or soccer or whatever you want to call it inspiration. So like definitely you can tell like expats hang out there, but it was still had some Swiss elements.
Yeah, they got some Swiss elements. It was a blend, dude.
Yeah.
the wine?
But the guy, yeah. We ordered, I don't know, some red
no
wine. I
wonder
don't
you
remember
got
what
the
it was.
worst wine.
We had a couple glasses, we were chilling, and then like we're doing some research.
Yeah,
And,
doing deep research.
Ooh.
And then
Deep.
we like closed out. We were talking to the waiter.
And even he knew
Or he may
Simone
have been
Brett.
a like bartender or something. And he was like, we were like, oh, is this wine good? And he was like, no, it's the worst one. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, I recommend this next time. And I was like, damn.
Well,
Damn, he's truthful.
now that you learned a little something
Brent
about
and I
wine.
think right before that, we're like, this looks pretty good wine.
Yeah,
This is like-
I think that's how we approached him. We're like, this is pretty good. He's like, you guys picked the worst one.
I could 100% see that happening.
We didn't know shit. So that we finally
That was
went
the
back.
night.
That was
we
the
went back,
full day.
yeah.
So what was the
Ton of
hotel
shit.
situation? Did you guys have bunk beds?
Head to toe.
Yeah.
Head to toe, huh?
No, we had 2 separate rooms
Oh, okay.
next to each other. Super nice hotel, by the way, for the price.
Yeah. Citizen M.
Citizen M.
I actually found the one in Austin. It's on 7th and like San Jack.
We
or
should check it
something.
out. Dude, honestly, like,
new
What are
building.
you going to do? Walk into the lobby and go up front and be like, oh, you know, I went
Supposedly-
to the one in Geneva.
Supposedly, all of them are the same. From what they said in Geneva,
yeah, they said they're all the same.
basically it'll be the same.
So
which is kind of cool.
Here's the deal with it. It's a great price point, great location, great finishes, amenities, like open bar 24/7. The only thing is the space is small.
Yeah, rooms are smaller, but
That's
it's
it.
still a king bed.
Who needs the space
Like
though?
on the window, but then like everything's controlled by an iPad. Like it's actually really cool.
It was actually super
we
nice.
just, like,
the bed
found
was
it-
super comfortable
we
too.
found it on a whim because we're
Yeah.
like, where do we stay? And like we were originally gonna stay kind of maybe like on the edge of city, and then we're like,
Stay in
I don't
Old
know.
Town.
We just kept finding these different price ranges, and we're like, whatever, let's just stay here.
Yep. If you're gonna go to Switzerland and for watches, stay in Old Town and stay at Citizen M. Seriously.
Most of everything's walkable. Like if you've never been,
yeah.
we walked to the like Patek Philippe Museum.
Everywhere.
We walked to by the Lejeune factory. Like it's, you may have to walk 20 minutes, but it's like we even walked across the river to go look at some other watch shops.
Yep.
But that'll be later.
That's later.
Yeah, so let's go on to day 2.
Okay, yeah.
Just to kind of
We got to
things
keep
moving.
the pace. So day
this
That
is
two.
was
a
like
big
day
deal.
one, huh? That was a lot.
That was a
Ed.
lot, dude. Cheers
day
to that,
one.
man. Cheers to that. We got some good
No, you don't get
wine
cheers.
that
You weren't
day.
there, buddy.
You know what? You guys want to do a little re-up?
Yeah, that's.
I'll take a little bit.
I mean, you got a little cup, so it has to be a little bit.
Tell me when.
Here, that's good.
I'm not gonna let you.
Just by the way, this is an average coffee cup right here that Josh has.
Yeah.
So it looks small, but no.
So
It's-
I'm a big
average.
burly man, bitches.
So day 2.
day 2. This
Actually,
is
hold on. Still day 1 or whatever, full day. Brendan's messaging me at like, I mean, you got to remember we're still sleep schedules are kind of off. We're having to go to sleep basically at like 6 o'clock in the evening here in Austin to get up at 9:30 in the morning over there, which is like whatever. But Brendan's like messaging me all night. And my brain is cooked. Like I am burnt. I'm fried out on watches. Like I think I started watching like fucking chiropractor videos, like instead of researching, because I was like so like I'm just done. Brendan's sending me at like 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning,
Just rapid
like,
fire.
all
Links,
these like I wake up in the
videos.
morning and I just have nothing but like messages of like, did you see this? Did you read this? Did you see this? And I was like, so I'm like scanning it in the morning, like trying to like quickly get my quick note or my cliff notes in. Like, damn, dude, what are you doing? Like, what time did you go to bed?
So, welcome to the club.
Well, then
He does that to me all the time.
well, I'm-
I wake up and he's like, there's like just some link to like some Lamania shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
like he went deep in the rabbit hole and found all these obscure videos. I was like, is this real? You think
Yeah.
this is AI? Is this? And I was like, oh
Dude.
man.
we'll get to some of those videos.
So then, yeah,
We
they-
should do like a Patreon or OnlyFans where like you get Brendan's like 3 a.m.
Research.
text.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Yeah, it's
Give
just
me a
Is this a
topic to
good deal?
research.
it could be a WhatsApp.
Should I buy this?
It could be a WhatsApp group, and it's
No.
just like we can
Why are you
automate
trying
it to
to
like
crush my
anytime you send a
dreams?
message, it populates to WhatsApp, and everyone gets to see it.
Yeah, you can see all my deep research or neurotic text messages.
Yeah. So day 2, we had to meet him at 9:30. So we
Yep.
took an
So who's
Uber.
this? Who's this at 9:30?
Oh, sorry.
This is
Ooh,
the
good
main
point. Good
guy.
point.
This is Simon Brett.
That's what we went over there for.
The big
To
dog.
be honest,
This is
Like,
the big
we-
dog.
me,
So
him,
we had
everything.
done a ton of research, me specifically, the night before, just up till like 4 a.m., literally looking at everything I could find and read again.
Did you do like one of those like criminal
Flashcards?
history check things where you can like get everybody's background information for 50
Oh, I
bucks?
should have.
I don't know.
should've.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, maybe I did.
I think he did.
Wink, wink. So we get up, Just get a cup of coffee, get right in an Uber, get sent there.
Oh, that's a funny story.
Yeah.
And it may partially be due to, sorry, take that off a little bit. Like security reasons that we think, but the location we got was like a block.
Yeah. So we got dropped off. And I swear to God, it was, first of all, I don't know if we can go on all the details, but we can go through some. We go through some. So we got dropped off basically in the Rolex warehouse.
Well, it was in the middle of like Warehouse Street, and we looked around. We're like, okay, we didn't realize where we were. Then Brendan's like, oh, we got to go this way. I was like, okay, cool.
Well,
so we start walking.
Before that, when we went there, when we were at that warehouse area, there's all these CNC machines on the first floor.
That's where we're getting to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we got dropped off, and then we start walking. Like it's this way. We start walking into this like it's like a U-shaped building, glass. Like it looks like a modern. It's a very modern looking building. But then the first floor is like all CNC machines, like both sides.
So you guys just walked into this building?
No, we
it
didn't
was
walk
like
in yet.
like we're still on the outside.
Through the window.
Okay, like a courtyard.
We turned to each other and we're like, "Damn, he's really doing well.
Like,
he's really doing well with all these machines."
Some machines, and we're like
Simon
sitting there, and like there's
really
no name
well.
on the building. There's nothing. We get the door, it's like locked. You have to have a key card to get in. We're like, dang,
Damn,
dude,
this dude's got security.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then like Brendan messaged him. He's like, oh, you got to come down here. It's like a restaurant name, and we're like, what? That's weird.
That's when I started freaking out. I was like, I think we just got catfished.
He goes, I think we may have got catfished. And I just looked at him and I was like, what?
Some 18-year-old kid is just pretending to be Simon Brett and getting us to fly to Geneva.
How fucking funny would it be if you flew to Geneva to get like catfished and get mugged for a fake Rolex?
What would be even worse is I was putting my trust into Brendan because he says, I've got this.
Well, there's your first mistake.
I handle it. And I was like, cool. Okay. And then he said that. And I literally was like, just heated, like straight. And I just looked at him. I was like, all right, we got to figure out what's next.
So he
but
said
if this is real, like we just like kind of spent money and time and work and all this shit to come over here.
Looking at us through the window, laughing at us. So he sent us, it was like a series. It was like a fucking scavenger hunt. We go down this thing, do that, turn around, take a picture of this. And I was like, it was getting deeper and deeper. And I was like, dude, we definitely got catfish. We definitely are fucked. And then we finally found the pathway up and we enter in. And there's, it's a small group of people. It's 3 of them. We enter in and we catch him mid work. He's like in the office with these other guys. They're discussing something. We kind of show up behind him and he turns around and is like alarmed by us. Just
I would be too.
Like Hevdet was kind of alarmed. Like, who are these guys? And then he recognized who we were and we started having a conversation and meeting.
It was very similar to Hevdet. Like when we showed up to his place, he was just like, looked at us like, who are y'all? Yeah. Even though we've like been communicating with them.
We're the watchmakers.
Yeah. We're here to move tables for you.
Yeah. Then we,
we were talking, you were getting really uncomfortable. It was so hot.
Every building there, because like when we first landed, it was snowing, which I guess is pretty rare in Geneva. I didn't know that.
That's what they were saying. Yeah. Anyways.
So every office building, every boutique or whatever we went into, they had the heater, I think up to 90. Like it felt like 90. And we're both wearing like double jackets.
Sweating.
Like a nice comfy under one and then like a heavy coat under over top. And I'm sitting there, we're standing in the doorway, he's explaining things, and I'm just like beads of sweat like pouring off my forehead. And I'm just like constantly wiping, and I'm like finally I was like, dude, I'm about to pass out.
I was about to faint.
I like took my bag off, took my jacket off, and he's like, oh, let's put these in the room. And I was like, cool. Like, let's do that.
Sorry, I'm just so nervous to meet one of my idols.
That was a lot of it too. That was a lot of it too. There's a lot of nerves.
There was.
But it was also like literally cold outside, like 20s, 30s, I think outside.
Yeah.
To like 90, 85, 90. Like I am
That's
not
crazy.
It was like Brendan was fine. He's
you know what it is though? Some of those things, like those old buildings have like central like radiators. And they just crank them all the way up because they don't want to balance it.
But here's the thing. A lot of those buildings do not have ACs.
Yeah.
So it's
they have
only
the-
heat.
they have
It's only
the
heat.
radiant,
Yeah.
And they don't
So-
adjust it. That's why like you walk
That's
around
the
some
thing,
of those places.
They do not adjust
and I
it.
bet everyone had their windows open, even though it was so
No,
cold.
no, no. None
they
of these
were
places
closed.
did. That's why it was so hot.
So then we get settled in. He shows us a lot of like the prototypes and stuff, some cool stuff. Shows us the different machines. They had a machine there that they took to do the convex black mirror polishing on the screws. They adapted an eyeglass polishing machine and put some new bits on it, and then turned that into like their own device to polish the screws.
Well, that's really
super cool.
And they actually, they took us in there after like an hour or so, and ran through the process with us.
Yeah.
Not the full process, but like had a screw that they started working on.
Yeah, they
was
showed
like,
it.
He's like, this process takes, I think, 7 hours per screw. Is
I
it?
forget.
shit.
I thought it was.
Five.
Oh shit! I thought it was only 1 hour per screw.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. 1 hour per screw.
Seven is a lot.
So 1
for a
hour is still a
screw.
lot on one screw.
Yeah.
That's still a lot of time.
But yeah, I mean, you got to think there's multiple screws in one watch alone.
Yeah.
So like, I think maybe that's where I get confused. Maybe it was an all day affair.
All
for
day affair because
screws.
they had so many screws. And then we went and he showed us the dial printing stamping device. And then that's when we start. My nerd started coming out hardcore because I just kept on rifling very detailed questions about the watch that showed our passion. And I think like that really showed that, hey, we don't come from all this money. We're just like really into your watch and what you're doing. Like we're not connected to anyone or anything. We're not like big ballers or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to think about it.
What's the other way to think about it?
What else? What else is there?
These fucking nerds coming in here.
I was double wristing. Which he seemed to like. And they loved the bel canto. They took photos of both of our bel cantos.
That was Robin.
Robin, yeah. So Robin's their photographer, their client relations, dial
Which-
stamper,
He
tons of stuff.
he learned a lot from Waitlisted, which I think most people should know if you're into watches.
Yeah.
Because he's got some, if not the best, watch
Photos.
photography.
Yeah.
in
And
the
a
game
hell of a
right now.
collection.
And I
But
think
James is
Yeah.
he's fucking awesome.
James is great.
But yeah, like he took some great pictures of just the bel cantos, and they were very, I guess, welcoming, nice. Just that's I think what they want to show is like, hey, this is more than just a watch. It's and he's very like Simone's very transparent about we use all these artisans, and they include the passport book as part of the package, and
Which is really cool.
Explains very detailed of what each artisan does.
That's neat. Does it have like their name?
It has their name and picture.
Kind of thing?
Yeah, dude, it is.
and what they did.
It's
That's
full
pretty
detail, and like it's really cool. And they're not all centrally located, so like that's a lot of moving parts. But he's very open and transparent about it. And he's like, I want people to know
Who's actually doing it?
how they do it, and like it's really cool.
He is genuinely one of the nicest dudes we met over in Geneva, I think.
Yeah.
Like he was
100%.
seriously just honestly super nice, down to earth.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, he was the best, man.
I think it's like it's a newish shop, high profile, that he's willing to sit down with you.
I know.
Well, and that's the
That's
thing.
a
Like,
testament
it's like we went over
To his
there.
patience.
We both went over there. You got to think about like we've seen the subscription model, which was 12 pieces.
Yeah.
And then they just recently released the titanium version with the tiger claw dial.
Yeah,
Most of these guys who've got it knew about this. Obviously the subscription guys knew in 2021 when he wanted to launch the brand, had just pictures of it, and the titanium guys, a lot of the earlier ones probably didn't even there was kind of in the air still as well, so they took a chance, and we don't come from, I guess we don't,
we're not in that
we
scene.
don't have like how it is, we don't have that
yet.
scene.
We're not in that scene.
Well, no,
yet.
I'm just saying like a lot of these collectors know each other very personally.
Yeah.
And while we know who they are, we just don't have that personal connection
Yeah,
with them.
we're like the outcasts that are misunderstood but are actually really cool.
Yeah, like when Brendan gets out of high school and finishes college, like he's gonna be a hit with the ladies.
So, the other thing that just to do a breakdown, because I think there's a lot of information and that we had to pull together. It's not really clear what is his release schedule, what is he actually going to put out. So just to break it down, he had the 12 subscription watches that were zirconium case with the dragon scale finishing on the dial. Then 60 of them are being made. The next iteration are in titanium, which are all sold out. The titanium case with a tiger claw dial finish. And then he's going to produce one in rose gold, another one in steel, and then the last one, I think, in platinum, I believe.
At least currently, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the metals.
That's the metals.
For the case. Those are the cases.
And he's going to do so he did 60 of the titanium, then he'll do 99 of the other 3 variants. Another thing to know is that there was 5 prototypes, some of them with dragon scale, tiger claw, a mix.
That's what they plan for.
Yeah.
They
so
only have
5
3 total. Because rose gold
for the
4.
prototypes. Yeah, so they're going to have 5 prototypes total.
Yeah.
But only a few of them have been made.
Right now.
Yeah. And one of them was sold to Mr. Wonderful. And that's one of the clips I was referring to earlier, because I saw this like weird clip that looked like AI. And
it really did. When he sent it to me, and the next morning I like ran it like 5 times or 10 times, and I was like, man, the watch doesn't look the same. It looks like I don't know. There was just like some like, it was really weird.
So Kevin O'Leary picked this up, and he just got all this information wrong. He like pronounced the name completely. He's like, "Oh, this is my Simon Brette," which is just completely wrong. And he's like has like one of their prototypes. Like, you should at least know how to pronounce the name. Anyways, he doesn't. Yeah, and he like his was special because it has like a red chapter ring, because you know how he likes red. So like we later on in the day we like brought that up, and they confirmed like he had like, picked one of the 5 prototypes, which he also kind of misinformed the public when he said there's only 5 a year. That was just like the prototypes.
No, I think he said there's only 5 total.
Or he said they make only 5 a year. Is I think what he said in the video.
I don't remember.
But it was like wrong info up and down. But we found that out.
Do you think people get mad like when he does that? And he's just like butchers everything. He's like the quintessential American guy. He's like,
I do.
Yeah,
no,
this
no,
is
no.
my Simon Brady, and he's a
like a fucking
young
it's like
guy
a dog.
from Geneva.
It's like a pet dog.
It's the hot talk of the watch world right now.
Is
I've
it?
got the only one he's ever made.
Is it one of those like money plays? Like, I'm so wealthy that I can just fuck up everything and like no one's gonna give a shit.
Maybe,
But
could
no,
be.
like I would say like the guy. Obviously, he spoke on a panel at Watch Time's event last year.
Watch Time, yeah.
And then he's obviously been a lot of different
community,
podcasts,
you know?
a lot of videos over that. Got a serious collection. He definitely
he really
loves
does.
watches.
And it's all over the place. Like he's not
Yeah.
just on the hype thing. Like he has
No,
hype
he
stuff.
buys what he likes. He gets, obviously his status, I think, has helped him get watches and piece uniques and things like that, which is really cool. Great for him. I love it. And so he definitely is a collector at heart. I do think that he probably has so much other shit going on in life that he doesn't care to learn certain aspects of the watch world, which I'm the same way. Like I don't even have that much going on probably as him, but like I don't care to learn reference numbers or shit like that.
Yeah.
Like some people do. Like each person loves the hobby a different
But the name, you gotta at least know the name.
No, not really. Like Jaeger LeCoultre. I don't know.
LeCoultre.
So any other highlights from the
Well, we went
visit
out to
with Simon
lunch.
Brett?
We went out to lunch, and
they have a really good lunch spot down the road.
Yep.
We had
Down the road.
Finally
chicken
some good
sandwiches
food,
that were
huh?
really fucking
fried chicken.
good.
We also found out that Simone and Robin, they work out a couple times a week together at the gym down the
Yeah,
street.
they have a company
Oh, that's
workout.
cute.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
It was really cool that they have like that company. Like they're trying to really bring that company.
Yeah.
values
So
in.
we felt like overall, like for me, that was my favorite experience in Geneva, and I don't know. I feel like you probably maybe have the same opinion.
Yeah. I think they just went. We spent. I think it was roughly 3.5, 4 hours there total.
Yeah, we were there.
Well, not necessarily all in the workshop. Obviously, we had lunch. It was probably about an hour.
And we went back too and hung out.
Yeah, we went back. But like, we learned so much. Like we talked with Robin, who is kind of a jack of all trades. There, he does a lot of the tooling. He explained to us and showed us like the different tools he had to like kind of create and how long it took to make those.
Work
or
with
like
the vendors
how long,
to make
the
that
vendors
stuff.
to make them. They said it took several months. and then like he showed us how like even like we just went really in detail, like, well, how does that work? And then he showed us like the machines that he did tooling for, which was like stuff you don't get from like, you know, just going into a boutique or even like
even a museum experience.
Even like when we went to like let's say a Crivia, like obviously we don't know them that well, so we're just new guys coming off the street, basically getting a tour. They showed us a lot of cool shit, but they didn't show us the fine, detailed things. That,
everything that happens.
I'm sure if you did 2 or 3, 4 or 5 tours there, they would start to be like, "Oh, you've already seen this. Let's go see this."
That's a good
which
point.
is really cool.
That's
like,
a good point. Yeah,
and you get to meet the people who are behind the brand as well. Just like we went in the watchmaker and they showed us how to polish the screws. Like, that's just something like he wasn't doing at the time, but then when we went in there, they pulled a brand new screw out and started it and said, "This is how the process begins."
And these are guys, really cool. the people that are working there now too. So there was 3, and you know, Simon, Robin, and their watchmaker. I think his name was it Luke. I forget his name.
That was Thomas.
Oh, Thomas. Yeah, it was Thomas. Good call. But all these guys had come from MB&F. Actually,
they had backgrounds.
They had backgrounds in MB&F. So these guys know what they're doing, right? Like they're not just some dudes out of school or working at some big company. Like they've actually been very hands-on with this sort of horology before. So like,
well, and like Simon's been like what?
He was at Chronode, and then from Chronode went to MCT, I think, and then went to MB&F, and then started his own thing.
That's really cool. Like
so they have history, they have knowledge, skill, relations. Very happy, excited for the brand, and hopefully we get to be a part of their journey.
It's very cool. Can't wait to see more from them.
Yeah.
No. They've got obviously we can't talk too much about it, but they do have some future things coming out that are really cool. And I just can't like, you know, I think the first couple times I like reached out to Simone. You know, he mentioned, "Can you come out to Geneva?" And I was like, "Damn, that is a long trip, long flight."
Not if you got
and
Xanax.
It's just like it's hard, you know, in America. It's hard because like especially Austin, because we only have like 3 direct flights to Europe. I think the one we took was London. Then there's
a Paris.
Amsterdam.
Go to Amsterdam. Do not go through London, by the way.
No,
that's a pro tip.
There's no Paris anymore. Okay. I thought there
I
was.
don't think there's a Paris. We didn't see it.
I didn't see
There's
Paris.
a Frankfurt, I think.
There's Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. But it's 3 different airlines, so that's
Amsterdam's the one, though. Don't go through Heathrow.
From what I've read, is the London one gets canceled a lot.
Yes.
At least from London to Austin, because that is a lesser traveled route, I guess, than Austin to London. But
well, as Archie Luxury put it, it's the airport from hell.
We learned. Dude,
where am I at the airport of hell?
Heathrow, it was not easy to navigate, especially when you're trying to like hurry to make your flight because they got delayed an hour on the fucking tarmac.
Yeah, you're just like throwing elbows,
stuck out on the curb, confused about where to go.
Can't use the phone app to pay for your ticket. Man,
there's no fucking ATM.
But anyways, Simone, when he offered to come out there, it was like, it's a big task. And I don't want to like put that lightly because, you know, you got all the costs that go into it. But if you really enjoy this hobby, and I think that's why Brendan and I, when we did it, we knew multiple days. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's fucking do it.
And we just fired. We sent it, dude. Full
and
send.
as y'all so far have heard, like the first day was filled with brands. Like once we knew the time and date for Simone, we kind of started backfilling, and then other ones.
Might as well if you're over there.
Just like the follow on. So like after we're done, we were kind of both like on cruise control afterwards.
Yeah,
like, we were like, "Fuck it."
The mission was completed, and we
coming over there, meet them, see the shop, see everything was it. And then I had, you know, I've worked with MB&F before, and I've been to their old location. We really wanted to see the Madhouse. Initially, we didn't think it was going to happen because my contact Cedric was, I think, out of office till that Friday that we went, and so like he eventually responded after. I think Brendan and I even like I was like, "Hey man, I don't think MB&F's going to happen." And we started trying to finagle other plans, And then I got an email that said, "Hey, if you can come at this time, we're here." And I was like, "I just asked you.
Yeah.
Let's do it." And he was like, "Let's go." And so we took an Uber over there.
Yeah.
The new Madhouse.
That was Friday. When did we do the Patek salon?
That was Saturday.
That was
Saturday. So
I thought we did Patek on Friday and the museum was on Saturday. Well, it doesn't matter. We did Patek at some point.
Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about right now? What happened after?
After Simon
That
Brett.
may have been after MBNF.
Okay, let's talk about MBNF then.
MBNF.
So we went to the Madhouse.
Yeah, the new Madhouse, which I'm sure
Super.
everyone's seen pictures of if you follow them. Like
Awesome experience.
that house
Probably
is
my
like
second
a very
favorite
like,
experience.
It's somebody's house that they live there. And they
Is it a
converted
big
it.
Historic house.
It's a huge house.
Huge historic house.
So
huge
it's a
lot.
mansion.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
It was like 3 or 4 floors, dude.
I mean,
It's
they've
huge.
got what do they say, 40 folks within that space.
Yeah, within that space.
Which is
Beautiful
you
space.
think like in a house, 40
Beautiful.
people comfortably.
That's a lot.
Comfortably.
It's like an
too.
old plantation style house, kind of, almost, right? A little bit plantation mansion.
That's more
I
of
don't know if I go
an
plantation.
American South
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that route, but it is a very old time where it probably had multiple generations of family living in the same house.
Although the Swiss do have a bit of their own checkered history too.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a nasty past. Well, so we went there, and it was like a fucking comedy show because it was so entertaining. Our tour guide was probably the most charismatic tour guide I've had that whole trip, or almost in any sort of tour guide.
Thank you, Cedric, if you ever decide to watch this.
Yeah, Cedric, you really were amazing. Honestly, it was fabulous. It was fantastic. I was so entertained, not just from the watch, it's just because the interaction was great. And
Yeah, he was, definitely
great.
one of the best. I guess I don't want to call him a tour guide because he's more than that, but he was a tour guide for us
in that moment, he was
yeah.
playing the role of a tour guide. I'm sure he wears multiple hats.
Tell us about the experience.
So we show up, and there's all these. They have different rooms. So they have like the R&D room, they have the watchmaking room, they have the QA room, they have marketing, advertising, client relations, all throughout the house.
It's 3 or 4 stories. I don't remember.
3 or 4.
It's a pretty
Huge.
Pretty hot. But like all the watchmakers, I think were on the ground floor. Each department had their own room. So like you had different R&D, the watchmakers who make the current selections, and then restoration or service.
So is the whole thing kind of like their business operation, or is there like a boutique gallery in there too, kind of thing? Or
We didn't get to see kind of like their mad gallery, but I think there was a room that is part of that. We just didn't get to see it because I've seen videos and stuff. Other people have seen it. What we saw was just mainly the manufacturing.
well, so you guys got like the whole behind the scenes kind of
right. More behind the scenes. We didn't get to make the Mad Gallery is still in its same location in Old Town. But yeah, so like this is like the first rooms we went into was the service department. Where they get all the watches for service, old and to the even newer generations, and got to see some cool stuff there.
Oh yeah,
and then we went
really
and
cool
I think
stuff.
the next room was
R&D, right?
Yeah, R&D.
Which they had to cover up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys didn't get to sneak a peek or anything like that?
I didn't even know what I was looking at half the time,
really,
man. Shit's so avant-garde over there. I'm like, what the fuck is that a
they
watch?
they were like working with the movements
That's more-
only.
It's more
So
Tag
like,
Heuer's thing. Avant-garde.
Do they have a...
It stands for technique. Avant-garde.
Oh.
You are diluting the NBNF brand by making that association.
Sorry, Cedric. Just chalk that up as a joke, though. All right, move on.
No. But like, I mean, I think most stuff that we're working on the bench was like in movement holders and stuff. So it's not easy to see by any means.
Yeah, what's going on with the
and
situation?
I think
have,
we
like-
were just so like they said, hey, just try to like don't look at this. So like we just kind of like paying attention to Cedric, and we just kept going
I was doing a little of this, Josh. I was going like this.
with his glasses off, so he can't see shit anyways. But like we kept going. It was just funny because then we went to the 40. It was the 40X machine.
The 40X machine
And-
was sick.
So I think I was wearing the Bel Canto, the purple Bel Canto,
Yeah.
and we put it under there and we started looking and like everything looks good. And then, yeah, we find a couple blemishes, and he was like, "But you got to remember, this is under 40X. So
It's
like,
normal.
He was like, "You'd even find this on like
Rolex,
some of our stuff or
some of our
Rolex."
stuff.
And
It's
Brendan was
40X.
like, "Oh, really?" well, let's try mine. And like brought his Rolex
And it
up,
was
and then
verified real, motherfucker, Josh.
we found some blemishes. So who knows? It could be China. It could be like
I have a picture of you and Cedric. You look so cute because it's a teacher's station. So Cedric's on one side of the microscope, and
he's running
Chris
the
is
machine.
on the other one, the viewers, the passenger seat. It was cute.
it was really cool.
But they also told us something about Rolex I didn't know. So there is the laser engraving in the cornet on the sapphire crystal. Everyone knows that, or if you don't, now you know. But also when it gets serviced, they etch an S inside the cornet to know that it's been serviced.
What if you get a new crystal on it?
I don't know. Maybe they put that on there. I don't know. I don't think
they probably just put a new crystal on it.
Well, they do, but I think it's
Maybe.
still a service crystal, so they still.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like, why would they take one and go through the effort to
Okay,
put an S
Josh,
on it?
you're making mountain out of molehills here, buddy.
Semantics, yeah.
Just let us tell the story and enjoy it.
Yeah, just sit back and relax.
Yeah, just
Look, this is how we enjoy the hobby.
so after that he sends us over to the QA section, which is like, I'm impressed that they have such a large QA section and that they have machines dedicated to this. Like they had a machine that took the base plate and measured every single hole to make sure that it was like round enough or whatever the specs were that it fit that size. And like they had it all through their software. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. A ton. And then they have like polishing QA. They have like at the end, like sign off, like human manual QA at the end. Like,
Yeah.
I was so impressed by the operation, man. Really, really, truly was.
Yeah, and we got to meet like the marketing folks,
We met the guy that got Saul's letter that he hand wrote them.
Yeah. Well, no, that was Cedric. Cedric did say he left it on his desk for several months
Yeah.
because they were so busy.
They're so busy.
So busy.
But-
Which we already knew that because we've talked about that on I think one of the first watch time recap.
Yeah.
We talked about that, but like
And then
they still remember it, and a lot of the folks in the office still remember it. So that's
They should
shout
have
out to you,
framed. They
Saul.
should have framed the
they
letter.
should have.
I think I almost I forgot about it. I should ask Cedric if they still had it and we could take it back and
Probably
frame it
in
and
a-
bring it back to him.
As a gift.
Probably in a landfill.
So what? And then, yeah, I mean,
Yes, that was like
pretty-
an
and then
hour
they-
and a
and
half,
then-
2 hour.
and then they
tour.
paid for our cab fare back to our hotel.
Nice.
Super class, man.
Yeah. They gave
Super
us-
class.
Yeah, it was cool. It's actually a
They
cool system.
really wanted you out of there.
Probably that reason. Yeah.
Cedric was having fun with us, man. I don't know what you're talking about. We had a
I mean,
ball.
it was the end of the day on a Friday, so we can only imagine they all wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
But like, yeah, it was.
that was cool.
They gave us a card and they called a cab and
and then
we went home.
and then the next day, Patek.
No. I think that was after that. We did
we
go
went
down
to Patek. Yeah, we did
Salon,
go to. Yep. The
which was-
original salon that's been there for years and years. I
which-
think.
Great experience, like hands down.
Amazing experience.
As
Did they have
boutiques
any
go,
watches?
Top three, I would say top three.
They had
experience.
watches, but not for sale.
But they
At
let
least
you
the ones
try.
we were looking at.
So we go in there, they pull us out to the back. They don't like, how some like boutiques or brands will ask qualifying questions like, oh, like basically trying to size you up. They didn't give a crap about that. They were like, what do you want to see? Pick anything from the book. We'll pull it out for you.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the
is
only thing they
awesome.
did was
I
like
fucking
they have
loved
like
it,
a
man.
waiting area. So they're like, "Hey, can you wait till we have a sales associate come out?" Or,
Yeah,
or
she
I don't
was
even know if they're
amazing.
sales associate or what their technical term
That's
is.
pretty good. If you go to like Cartier and they're full, they make you wait outside.
Yeah, no, not them. Like it's like a little lounge area,
Jeweler to the kings, man.
and they
Not to the common folk.
said, "Please wait here until someone becomes available, and we'll show you the watches."
So
we
we,
got
we checked out
then
the
we went out back or went to the
not
back
the
room.
3940, but the most. There's two iterations from that. It was basically the perpetual that I asked for, and then I think the 5140 or something, or maybe there's actually one that came after that is what they had in stock.
Did you get them to pull out anything crazy? Like
They had a 50. We saw the 5811. They
what's
pulled
the
that
sky?
out.
The sky tourbillon, John.
We didn't know
Sky
You got the skeleton.
you're
to pull
I
out.
think what you're thinking about now. We didn't ask for that. No, we did
missed an
like I did the
opportunity.
skeletonized, the rose gold skeletonized Calatrava, which is super classy. It's
Yep.
been a watch I mean, I love the white gold more.
The
They
Nautilus.
discontinued, but
They pulled out
then they pulled out the 5712.
a 5712 as well, and rose gold as
and
well.
then
Right?
I forget the reference number, but it's a platinum. with the blue, like beautiful blue enamel dial.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I forgot which one that was.
A gorgeous watch. I
They
forget.
she had pulled stuff out too that was just like, hey, this is kind of cool too.
It was really cool because they like literally handed us a book, and they said, she's just like, wow. She's like, what do you want to see first? And I think he said his watch, and I said the Calatrava. And then from that point on, she was like, yeah, just look at the book. If there's anything else you want to see, let me know, and I'll go get it. And I think we asked, like, do y'all have everything in the book? And she said, yeah.
That's awesome.
So
did you guys get any fun swag?
We did. We got free pins, a loop, and tickets to the Patek Museum.
And a hardcover
23, 22
24
catalog,
which is
cool.
It's like actually a nice book.
Yeah.
Catalog book versus like some of the
And that's for sale at the watchcringe.com shop. So then the next day we went to the Patek Museum, saw a bunch of cool stuff, a lot of Breguet stuff. I mean, it was just amazing. We have some photos we'll probably post on the Instagram.
Oh, Brendan, what happened though?
Oh, yeah. All right. You want me to tell us? Do you want to tell it?
So Josh, remember you're taking the cringy watch pictures of the fountain?
Oh, yeah. Are we there?
So,
oh,
hold on.
Yeah,
I'll tell this story.
Yeah, you got this one.
The night before, we already make a plan because it's like we're cruise control now.
Yeah, we just had
like
completed mission.
Saturday, we knew like most of the brands would be closed. So this is either boutiques or like museum.
I think I know where this is going.
Night before, we don't do any. Oh, I guess no, we do. We do go downstairs to the lobby. We stay till like 1 a.m. drinking wine
with this other couple,
Australian couple that live in New York currently, which
and
are
they
really
were also
fucking
the
cool.
guy was also into watches.
Yeah.
He had just bought a Frank Mueller.
We saw him in was it the time? Was it
Watchfinder?
Watchfinder.
Watchfinder.
Yeah, we were in there looking at some stuff, and he was in there buying.
He got a good deal. He only paid like $5,000 for that thing.
Like we didn't know that he was there.
Back.
And so we were getting like drinks, and they're like, we see them, like, oh shit, that's the same guy. And like Brendan chatted with him for a second, and came back to where we were sitting in this like couch and whatever, and then they joined us, and we sat
just
there
stayed
for like
up
3
drinking
hours,
shitty wine,
hammering drinks, nonstop.
The wine was so diluted, it took us like. We just never got drunk, you know what I mean? Like we just kept on buying. Like, what's going on with this stuff?
They were selling you like Martinellis.
But I will say
that's
this,
the other thing with that hotel.
We were not drunk.
Bad wine.
We were not drunk.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
Brendan and I planned, like, hey, he had to go get some vegan chocolate in the morning that opened at like 9:30
for Marissa.
And so I was like, okay, you go get that at 9:30. We'll meet here like prior to 10, like at the hotel, because the chocolate place is literally right behind the hotel. And then from there, we'll walk to the Patek Museum or take a Uber or whatever, and start our day. We have tons of boutiques and things planned. I show up 10 o'clock down in the lobby waiting 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm like, damn, dude, what's going on here? Message Brendan, no answer. I'm like, all right, let me go upstairs. Go back upstairs, knock on his door, see the peephole is still black. I'm like, damn, dude, what's going on? Nothing. I wait for like 30 minutes, no response. It's like, all right, fuck it, I'm out. I'm gonna enjoy Geneva. I go wandering around. I go to the fountain area, take some watch pics, just keep cruising around, messaging Brendan, like, just, hey, dude, you up? Like, whatever. It's probably spend an hour and a half.
You up?
Hour and a half. I was like, man, whatever. I go eat something. It's 12 o'clock. And I'm like, dude, what the
It was like 11:30.
I don't know. But I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, he's not responding, nothing. I'm like, and I went dark. I will say I went dark. I was like, man, if Brendan died and I have to fucking call his parents and then like escort his body home, like, this is fucking sad. Like, this is bad.
This whole trip just came crashing
like,
down.
Do you know how complicated and frustrating it is to like move a body across international borders?
Jesus, it's got to stink. I know that. It's got to smell bad. Especially with my
IBS. But being a base jumper, that is a part of the thing you have to worry about. is, the acquaintances you're traveling with may pass away, and you have to help their families get their bodies home. So, yes,
So now you're talking about Jeff.
know.
You started it. He's now completing the cycle
So I'm like
here.
sitting there, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like messaging, not answering, like nothing. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna head back to the hotel. I'm just gonna bang on the fucking door.
Yeah, that woke me
And
up.
see if I get any response. I do that, and like I just hammer it. Like I'm fucking like, dude, if he doesn't
blasting
respond,
Was there
door.
anyone in the hallway that like witnessed you just
the
fucking
cleaners,
going to town?
the cleaners. I was actually gonna go to them first and be like, "Can I just get a key? Because I think you might be dead." But I was like, "No, let me knock first."
I think he had a little too much weak wine last night.
I banged on the door, and he like, I actually do hear him stumble into the door, and he was like, looks out the peephole. He's like, and I was like,
like barely speaking.
and I'm just like, hey,
'Cause I
just want to see if you're up. And he's like, oh, give me 1 minute.
Here's
And then you hear him like shuffling around, doing stuff
getting
in
shit
there.
ready. Well, it's because I spent the whole night before researching Simon Brett, so I had 0 hour. I was catching up. I was like a bear in hibernation. But yeah, that was so that was the
he gets
start,
like-
a late start to a
He
to our
gets
day.
dressed and he comes out and he's like, what's up? I'm like, bro, we said 10 o'clock. It's now 12:30. And he was like, oh. And I was like, look, man, if you're tired, by all means, go back to sleep. I don't care. I want to check on you, make sure you're okay, you're alive, and then I'll go do my own thing. He's like, no, we're good. I'm good. Let me go do some stuff real quick. So he goes and
We
gets
get
ready.
the vegan chocolate.
We do go to vegan
We get the
chocolate.
vegan chocolate, which was fucking phenomenal, but also very expensive. Worth it though.
And then we still walked down, but I walked you toward
We went to
the
some-
Jorn factory first.
how was
Jorn
Jorn?
factory.
They were closed, but it was like
Get to
I
see
was
the
like, this is where-
factory.
yeah.
And then we
Like
went
their
to
main headquarters factory, whatever.
we went to that day we went to like I don't even know the names, but we went to like 3 different like gray market dealers that had some like some AD relationships with some brands. So we saw like a bunch of more shops that day. And then eventually ended up at Jorn, the Jorn boutique.
Ooh, the boutique. Okay.
And I got to say it was the worst experience I had in Geneva.
Just for the trip?
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. For me, definitely the trip. I would have to analyze more and go back and analyze data.
That's surprising.
I'd probably say that was one of my worst experiences total. Like out of all the boutiques and watch stores and everything I've been to.
But on the contrast, the New York boutique experience was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was night and day. So the New York experience, great. In Geneva, and maybe it was because we didn't set up an appointment in Geneva, but like still, if you're coming off the street and coming in, like you should still have like what had
Or
happened.
if it's appointment only, they say, "Oh, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
We're appointment only. Here's how you make an
So,
arrangement."
and we don't know if it was appointment only or not, but like when we'd come
I mean,
in,
they let you in. So it's
yeah,
not
they let you in.
appointment
So they had said hi. These 2 ladies pop out of the back and they say hi, and then like one of them retreated after like looking at me or something.
Yeah, I would too.
And then I was like, "Hey, man, I'm just want to bleed on your watches again. Give me a chance." No, but then the other lady was like there, kind of standing in like the corner watching us and not starting conversation with us. Like I was the one trying to start the conversation. Like, "Oh, we're from we're clearly not from Europe."
Did you show her a Lego VIP card?
We gotta go over that in a second. So I was like kind of trying to chat with her, and it was just really short answers, and I felt very unwanted there. I had asked to check out watches. She's, those are display only watches, which is true. That's a thing. But like I had asked, was there anything else that they could show us? Which they have something to show because we know New York had stuff to show, and Geneva apparently didn't. So there was just this, like super blunt, like short, like get out of here kind of like feeling. And so eventually I was just like, "Chris, let's get out of here." Like I was like, "Yo, let's go. There's nothing here. Let's get out of
That's
here."
a bummer.
Yeah. It was not good. But again, New York experience, top notch. Honestly, top notch.
But even like the way, like I know we had appointments in New York, but like while we were at our appointment, there were several people that did walk in, like just off the street in New York, and like
And they still got treated well.
they got treated, and I think
they got sat down,
asked questions, like so they got to
Where
sit
are
at the
you
bar
from?
and talk to them for a little
Let me
bit.
get to know you. What watches you want to see? Here's a drink. Like, the typical stuff that you get at a boutique.
It was definitely in my opinion, a very shitty experience. Like, not good for the brand. Point.
Definitely not.
Well, that's a bummer. So, like, was the Patek Museum a letdown, or was that a better way to end the day?
That was awesome.
Well, that was in the morning.
That was in the morning.
That was awesome, dude.
It was good. There's
great.
so much. Like,
The museum is
there's
great.
3 or 4 floors. Like, you have to, man. If you want, you can sit there probably all day.
Yeah.
You really want to read every, because they give you an iPad that's in English, and you can like hear the history.
You can do
If you do everything, there's like it's 5 minutes per. Like probably
Display,
the long form
yeah.
is like 5 to 7 minutes per like display.
That's cool. So, like,
is,
does the iPad kind of make it a more like interactive experience or something like that? Then
They just kind
Kind
of did the
of.
audio, like you play whatever number you're at.
so like each display will have like 5 to 7 watches in it, and then they'll have like a little headphone, little symbol right by the watches they're going to describe in that case, which in my mind was cool, but it's like there's a couple that I was like, I'd rather know more about that piece.
yeah.
So that was a little bit harder.
And I think Hevdet Rekshepi kind of alluded to this, but like it seems like there is a culture of watchmakers that go there to get inspired too from looking to the past. Like that's what he said he does, and I'm sure of other. And it kind
So
of
it's like when you're like at like the Louvre or whatever, and you see someone like sketching something or
Yeah,
like working on their craft or whatever.
you get inspired.
Go in there
Maybe
and just-
so. It was pretty well trafficked. Like there was a lot of people there from,
wow.
and obviously not all like watch people because there was like families and stuff. It was just like a museum
Well, I'm sure
to
it's
see.
sort of like, what do you do in Geneva?
Yeah,
and it's like,
exactly.
Well,
and it's not
this is a big
all
thing.
like I think that's a misconception at some point is like it is the Patek Philippe Museum because it's owned by them, but only one, like I think basically one entire floor is only Patek.
Oh, so it's like
The
a
rest of the
watchmaking-
other floors are like the history of the brand, and then kind of just watchmaking in general. So it goes through a lot of Breguet, a lot of, I mean, some of these super early like watchmakers that
That's really cool.
you just can't think
and
about.
you can see, and then it goes, more modern stuff too.
And it leads into
So
how Patek's like how the origins started, and like and it starts leading into that. But like you see so much history that it's kind of cool.
So is that kind of the main thing? Those 2 days of watch stuff.
I think Simon Brett and the Patek MB&F day, two top days, man. 2 top days right there.
Very cool.
I think that if you're really, really into watches, you should go to Geneva when you're, whenever, like if there's something that you want to see and actually make a trip out of it, it's totally worth it.
Do you try to convince a wife or someone to go along, or do you just
it'd
nerd
be
it
easy.
out?
It'd be easy. You got the French Alps there. You can go hiking, do nature shit.
So you think schedule a week and be like, I'm taking you on vacation, babe, but we've got 2 days
Yes.
of me being a giant loser in watch Disneyland.
Yes. 2 days would be minimum.
That's what I did in 2018 when
Sufficient.
I went.
He's still married, so it worked.
Susan and I went, we did Italy, Switzerland, and then France. But like, we just kind of timed it. We had some places we had to be, and then like, I was like, you know what? I've never been to Geneva. I'd love to fucking go. Let's do like 3 days in Geneva. I think 3 or 4 days. And then once we planned it, I was like, all right, let me schedule. Like, I think I went to Journe, MB&F, and then we just kind of looked at shops other than that at the time. And that's like, it was enough for her because she's not as interested. But like for me, I was like, okay,
Yeah, man.
I could do this more, but I gotta.
Yeah, if you're a big skier or snowboarder, you just go there, man.
Yeah.
So it's I would say, and then on the way home we won't get too deep into it because I don't think people want to hear about a horrible travel story home, but we got canceled on multiple times on the way home. Ended up like trying to catch the next flight out of Dallas at some point. It was just a crap show. So
How long did it take you to get home?
over 22 hours to get home.
Yeah, it was long enough that he was trying to play pranks on me.
Yeah, what did I say to you again?
He told me that Soul was getting kicked out of his house and he needed to move in
I was
with me.
so bored. I was like, hey, Saul needs a place to live.
I said, no, I don't want a roommate.
Anything else from the trip? So,
I guess, so for me, it sounds like it was fucking awesome.
this is
Super jealous.
amazing, man.
Is there...
Cheers again, brother. That was a great trip. I'm glad we went on that.
Is there anything that you guys feel like you missed out on? Somewhere you guys would have liked to also go? Maybe you didn't have enough time, or maybe there just wasn't an opportunity, something like that.
I would say for me, definitely the Jorn factory, because like he also has a crazy library in there that they bought, because he's also a horological historian. You know what I mean? So like it would have been cool to see some of that stuff and to just see his factory and his process. I really wish that I planned that more. That was definitely mine.
And you've been there before, right, Chris?
Yeah, I've been there.
So is it kind of a thing you think it would be a high priority for folks visiting?
Oh, definitely. Like it's, if you've never been, I think it's one of those things that it is. When we think of a lot of independents, like Jorn is one of the biggest ones right now. So just being able to go there and see their process and potentially meet the man himself is always a great thing.
Okay. So what about, what's your one thing you would have liked to have done?
There was a couple watchmakers I really wanted to meet that have kind of piqued my interest. Obviously, I think the biggest one was Ludovic Ballard. With his upside down
his
watches.
stuff looks so cool.
He still lives in Geneva, but it's like further than the Madhouse was. And just timing wise, it wasn't going to work out for us, and that's unfortunate. But in the future date, and I think the other one was like Sylvain Panade, another kind of independent watchmaker, but he lives kind of in the mountains outside of Geneva, which he welcomed us to come out, but he said it's too hard to kind of come into the city due to the snow. So that was another one that was
I've
kind of
never heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's one of the
cool.
newer. I don't necessarily say he's newer, but he's, I guess, getting more popular now. But he's got some cool watches.
I think it would have been cool if we could see Carrie's factory out there too in the countryside and show up and do a little cheers, with him. But another thing that you could do too is instead of Switzerland, Britain, you could go see Roger Smith and Garrick and see those.
Yeah, Roger Smith's like on an island.
Yeah.
Little tiny island.
So I think that would be a cool next trip follow up. Chris, what do you think?
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Take me with you.
Okay. We'll take you with us.
You heard it.
Roger Smith and
he's paying for my trip to England.
Oh, I said take you with. We didn't say pay. We just said take you with us.
It's implied.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
But I mean, even if like Geneva specifically has a ton that we didn't get to see. But then if you have a vehicle or you have more time, you can take a train to some of these, a lot of these watchmakers, especially independents, are kind of in these smaller cities or villages or towns or whatever they may be, but it's still part of Geneva. That if you had more time or a vehicle, you could travel to them a little bit easier. So like, if you plan it that way, I think you could see a lot. And even like, was it APs and Les Brasses? And
Le Brasses.
It's like
you didn't want to go see Omega.
I don't know, man.
We have
so much
we had a
cooler
limited
shit
time.
out there,
Yeah,
man.
They went to space, bro.
So did
From
Fortis.
there?
Man on the fucking
did they go
moon.
from there?
Who else
Yeah,
went to
man.
space? Bulova went to space.
Yeah, they're going to Mercury next.
Well, I think that's like been a great wrap up. We're gonna break this up in 2 episodes, but any other last words, Chris?
You won't hear that part till the second episode.
Where it's already obviously done. Chris, what do you think about me as a travel partner? What do you think?
Geez. Don't give him the fucking GPS.
Oh yeah.
Even with Google Maps on, he takes you the wrong direction.
I could have told you that.
I don't remember where we were going.
We were off by about 5 minutes of walking.
If Brendan's
10
in
minutes the wrong direction, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I think we're going the wrong direction."
if Brendan's in tip-top shape and I'm blackout drunk, I'm the one who's going to get you where you need to go.
But hey,
Dude, even like, it wasn't even like main directions. It was just like, oh, like it's just common things like, okay, these shops are here and there. Like we've walked by them 10, 15, 20 times already. Like you should be able to start seeing your surroundings and know where things are.
I'm just a baby.
And he would literally walk around being like,
clueless American.
I was just like,
But
dude.
other than that, I'm pretty good though.
Nah, you're good other than that. Well, and the sleeping in thing, that was,
Okay. Other than those two things, pretty
thought you're
good.
dead.
But hey, I'm a sociable guy. I got some of that couple over and we started talking. That was a fun little.
That was fun.
That was fun.
It's cool.
Yeah, all right.
I'm a connector, dude.
Well, you
I'm a
know what?
Connector.
From me and everyone else out there, thank you for sharing your journey with the fans.
Guys, go to Geneva. Highly, highly recommend it.
I do as well.
Take care.